issue is involved without the help of the dealer or the VAT auditor. It is their duty to see the records and the returns filed by the department by the dealer. Then another question is that there are many dealers who are not subject to VAT audit. According to the department, only 50,000 dealers are required to VAT audit, 50 to 60,000. And there are 6,50,000 dealers registered. What will happen to the 5-6 lakh dealers who have not furnished the VAT audit report, in whose cases the issue is applicable? Now, the certificate in the table 7 refers only the reference and appeals. What about read petitions filed by the department? According to me, no information is to be given, because the certificate refers only reference and appeals and not the read petitions. Friends, these are the something on this certificate from the audit part. Now let us examine that what are the informations available on the website. Whether it is sufficient enough that the VAT auditor would be in a position to furnish these details, and whether dealer, when is asked by the VAT auditor, would be in a position to give the details that this issue is involved where the tribunal has decided in favor of me and the department has filed the reference. Now as a matter of fact, it is the duty of the auditee or the dealer to furnish the required information to the VAT auditor. So, it is not the duty of the VAT auditor to look the required details for furnishing the VAT audit report. If no information is furnished by the dealer, the VAT auditor can give a disclaimer that the dealer has not provided information, we are not in a position to give the certificate as required under clause D. So we have got a provision to give the disclaimer of the certificate or opinion given in the audit report. More than 400 and 500, it does not talk about the references filed by the department and pending. It also contains the information where the decision is already given by the department against the dealer, against the department, reference filed, reference rejected, accepted, not accepted. So first thing is that the information on the website is not informative, so that the person can use it directly. Serial number, SN number, date of the judgment, name of the dealer, reference number, date of the filing, issues involved. Now if you look at the issues involved, it is a descriptive. We have to find out that whether that issue is applicable in my case or not. Now some of the information is in respect of a revision, reassessment, permission of additional ground. Now this has no relevance for giving the certificate in VAT audit report for determining the liability of a dealer. अभी assessment ही चालू नहीं हुआ तो reassessment किधर है? So the department has to edit this information and make it those information which they want that VAT auditor should give the information. That is the first point. Now, this is what yellow line. This is the most important and would be applicable in most of the cases where you are claiming a deduction in case of the sales in course of import, section 5(2) of the CST Act. Now see the issues involved. What I have said, admissibility of sales 5(2) of the CST Act of inextricable link between the import and sale. Now whether there is an inextricable link or not is a question of fact. It can't be said to be a question of the law. So whether there is an inextricable link or not is a matter relating to the ascertainment of facts of the case. that cannot be an issue which is to be a pending and could be asked for the dealer to give the certificate. Then on this respect, we have a decision of Supreme Court in case of Ashoka Hotels. To bracket ITDC 48 BST page number 443. This is referred in our referencer. Page number 117 and 118 of the referencer. We salute the persons who are giving information in referencer, because we start from that referencer that is there any judgment in our favor or other, and then we go and search on the website whether there is any other judgment or not. Now the Supreme Court has already decided on this issue, sharing course of import, and the reference is here that shown that this is pending. As I discussed before that, in such cases what should be done? Two views possible: ignore or give the information. So according to me, the second option is better, giving the reference to this appeal, this reference in, and say that in view of the Hotel Ashoka Supreme Court matter, this certificate is not required to be given. So no information is given in table 7. That is the one view of the matter. There are a lot of on this topic, and I compliment our member CA RP Modi, who has done a great homework and listed certain references which are applicable to the many of the dealers, and I would like to refer some of them before this hour's gathering, and the credit goes to Mr. RP Modi. The Siemens India, that is relating to the 5.2. On the 5.2, you see that how many references are there. After additional sale by transfer of bank delivery allowed, bank delivery order, selling course of import, bank delivery order again, transfer of bank delivery order, another reference. Then the last two is the open show and banner, whether it is a taxable declared goods or not. Insurance charges, whether it is forming part of the sale price under the CST Act or not. The selling cost of import again by transfer of airway bill. Then the answer is that set off is there. Again the last is that serial number 94, sales under section 5.2. Now these are the some of the references selected by me for discussion, and out of that, one is that Parle product. Parle product, the issue was whether freight recovered is a post-sale or pre-sale, so it will form part of the sale price and subject to VAT. Now, on this delivery order, sale in the, that is transfer of document of title to goods, airway bill, we have got a decision of Bombay High Court in case of the BM Shine Company 142 STC, page 291. Now the Bombay High Court has already concluded on this issue, that sale in the course of import is allowable. As I discussed, Hotel Ashoka has already taken a decision in case of the ITDC also, that the sale by a customer from a custom bonded house till it crosses the custom frontier, it is a sale in course of import. So we have got a decision by the Supreme Court and by the Bombay High Court. Then in those cases the department should not insist the matter or information from the VAT auditor. That is my point of the saying. In discussing this, we don't have that much time, but at one judgment I would like to refer. The latest judgment of the Supreme Court on this topic, we have got a full-fledged paper in NRS, determinants of the sale price. The Supreme Court judgment is India Metal Industries Limited, 34 VST, page number 273, Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court has held that when the freight is recovered for the transportation of goods to the place of the buyer is forming part of the sale price under the VAT as well as CSTA. Only dispute is that whether the freight is recovered after sale or before sale. If it is after sale, it does not form part of the sale price. If it is before sale, it does form part of the sale price. There is no dispute about that. And this is a legal position right from 1964. In 1964, the Commission of Sales Tax had issued a circular on this topic. When a freight is recovered after post-sale, then it does not form part of the sale price. Despite this circular of 1964, still the matter is being kept pending by the department by way of filing reference before the High Court, and the information is sought from the VAT auditor regarding this issue, whether freight forms part of the sale price or not under the VAT or CST. Now, what to do? All said and done. According to me, when the freight is being claimed as a deduction, then we must take a call whether this is post-sale or pre-sale. Now to arrive at that conclusion, we have to gather information. कौन देगा? अपने वहाँ तो लास्ट मिनट पे आ जाए सब लोग. So the VAT audit is not a 2020. It is more than 5-day test match. Like the earlier cricket, where there was no limit about the test match, till you win or lose, match is on. So the VAT audit report is like that. The earlier years of the cricket. Till the VAT audit is completed, signed, renewal, uploaded, we have to keep on asking the information from the dealer, ascertain the facts, and whether it is forming part of the sale price or not, and there is no shortcut. If we write that it is not forming part of sale price, dealer will not accept that, don't do that. And we can't write that also, it does not form part of the sale price, or it, because the reference is there. Now, another point in this respect is that where the matter is pending at the instance of the dealer, then department does not want any information. When a dealer has filed the reference or appeal, then now look at the situation. I filed the returns, claim the deduction. The VAT auditor will not allow the deduction because in view of the tribunal judgment against him, he will advise to make the payment of the tax. If the dealer makes the payment of the tax, there is no assessment. And later if the court decides in favor of dealer, who will give you the refund? So the department should also take up the assessment in those cases where the VAT auditor informed that this issue is there, which is pending before the court, although against the dealer, and the dealer makes the payment of the tax, then this should be also selected for the issue-based audit or assessment. Friends, आज के लिए इतना काफी on this 26 this certificate. So much to say, so much to speak, and so much to discuss. But the time does not permit us. So this is the beginning on this topic. This is the first study circle on this Vikram Samvat 2017. So the ball is to be kept on roll. This is the ongoing process, not a 2020. So this topic requires much discussion, much application of the mind. And I request the office bearer of the association that till that is being done, I will suggest not to furnish the audit report, don't make a hurry in this furnishing the audit report. it should not lead to an incomplete audit report. The association as well as the WRC is also in dialogue with the Commissioner of Sales Tax that let us give us the issue as information in alphabetical format, section wise, and filter this information and restrict to those cases where the department is really interested in levying the tax and not other. The one more point in this topic that we need not to give a advice to pay the tax in this respect. That we have to keep in mind. I will discuss this very quickly in the other slides. Now on the J1, J2, I just would like to mention that J1, J2 is to be considered the most critical exercise for the VAT audit. The dealers were telling us that we don't have the information of the TIN of the selling dealer or buying dealer, sorry, not selling dealer. How do I furnish the TIN wise information in J1, J2? Like that. Now we are in the 4th or the 5th year of the VAT audit report after the introduction of this J1, J2. By this time, the department has also furnished the information in the form of the match mismatch, and the dealers have also taken seriously to inform the TIN to the selling dealer, and we have got amendment also in section 86 of the VAT Act that unless the tax invoice shows the TIN of the person dealer, it will not be a valid tax invoice and the department will disallow the setup in this respect. There is a circular on that topic also in this respect. But on J1, J2, the one thing what I find that now we have to give this information after deducting the goods return and debit note, credit note. Earlier we had about a J1 and J3, J2 and J4. In J3 we have to give the debit note wise details. In J4 we have to give the details of the purchase return likewise. So we have to do the sales. Now that exercise we don't have to do. We have to give the information in J1 and J2 net of goods return and all the effects of the debit note and credit note where there is a tax liability is to be effected. So that care has to be taken. The question comes, what about it results into a minus? When against a particular selling dealer, after giving effect of debit note, credit note, there is a minus figure. Does not accept. I tried it. So we have to represent that what to do in this respect. Should we club in other cases or give a not or not? दे दो कहाँ दे? है ही नहीं जगह. Because the taxable sale will not match with the figure of the J1. So the annexure K is a very good tool for us. You can give as much as information in annexure K. The problem is that I don't know whether the department is having access to annexure K or not. Particularly issue-based department. I am very much with the issue-based department. Because they are using the incomplete information and issuing the notice. They don't see the VAT returns filed by the dealers. They pick and choose the information from the VAT audit report and take action. That is more concerning to all of us. About the close air of the certificate. Now, let about something about J2. Now, in annexure E in section 2, the row 12 is inserted or added. Now, when we have discussed with the Commissioner office that where I have not claimed the set off, why should I give the details in annexure J2? See, the J2 heading does not say that the details is to be given in respect of the claim of the set off. It is to be given in all cases where the customer wise tax is charged separately, then you give the TIN wise. Now when I have not claimed the set off, I mention in J2 and J1 is not filed by the selling dealer, we get the notice. Pay the tax. without verifying whether I have claimed the set-off or not. And when we visit the press departmental office, how do I come to know that whether you have claimed set-off or not? When you see my returns, you see the Annexure E, what I have filed. So, now they have inserted a clause in road trial, the purchases of the goods from the registered dealer on which no set-off is claimed. So the total of the J2 should be equal to the total of section 1 of the section E. Then you make the deduction, set-off not claimed, set-off not eligible, set-off subject to retention, and the balance you will get the amount of the set-off claimed by the dealer. Now, this information is given in Annexure E is not sufficient enough to the department to determine whether on a particular tin-wise details of purchases furnished in J2, where J1 is not there, supplier has not paid the tax, selling dealer has not paid the tax, and the dealer has not claimed the set-off. So no action. That is not sufficient. And therefore we represented to the commissioner that you insist for the J2 only in those cases where set-off is claimed. Now in the guide to the book published by the WRC in 2008-9, a view was expressed that in many cases the dealer has not maintained the details where the set-off is not claimed. Appropriate disclosure. Estimate the sales out of the purchases and levy of the tax is being. We have received the notice. The dealer, no set-off is claimed, Annexure is there, nothing. Schedule 1, no set-off, all the taxable sales tax paid. No issue on the sales side, no issue on the purchase side. Still notice is received because you have not shown the purchase. Now, this is to be avoided, and that's why what we can do is that when the dealer has not maintained the details of the tin-wise, we must write that dealer has not maintained, therefore the details of the purchases is furnished in J2 to the extent of information made available by the dealer. So that would serve one purpose, that audit report is furnished where the J2 and the amount of the set-off is equal. When we get the notice, subsequently then you file supplementary J2. Because the government has also permitted to file supplementary J2 for those where no information is submitted earlier. But if you furnish the information, 1 lakh rupees against the one tin holder and further 50,000 is to be added, not permitted. Only supplementary for additional information and not for the same tin holder. Issue of proper tax invoice. Now this is very important according to me. Now clause L of part 1, the VAT auditor is to certify the tax invoice in respect of the sales are in conformity with the provisions of the law. Now my concern is when the tax invoice does not show the tin of the purchasing dealer, whether it is a tax invoice valid or not. The Commissioner of Sales Tax had issued a circular, it is not a valid tax invoice. And if you look at the certificate, it does not say valid tax invoice. Tax invoice not in invoice purchase in the J2. And the department will say where you have not furnished the invoice details in J1. So, it is advisable on the part of the dealer also that the VAT auditor should make observation in this respect, so that he can defend later on that look, in the tax invoice given by me, I have not mentioned the tin of the purchasing dealer, so therefore I am not in a position to furnish tin-wise sales in Annexure J1. This circular what I have discussed is this, not much. Then revised returns. Now we have been permitted, the dealer is permitted to file revised returns single annually on the basis of the advice of the VAT auditor. Time limit is within 1 month from the last date for furnish the VAT audit report. Now, the department is not giving the C form or F form if it is not covered by the returns. A question comes, should we file the return revised before VAT audit report or after VAT audit report? After VAT audit report, it is convenient because I have to file only one single annual return and matter ends. But if the department later on not accept your application for issue of C-form purchases or F-form, then what? Now, according to me, the department cannot refuse the issue of the form on these grounds legally. But we are practical. We don't want to avoid or an invited litigation. आप मुझे मार ऐसा नहीं करने का. So if you are worried about the issue of the form, my advice is that first you file the revised return incorporating the C-form purchases or stock transfer properly, and then you do the VAT audit report. Where C-form, F-form is not an issue, file a single annual return and matter is over. But then we have to see the letter of submission. Letter of submission amended, we have to furnish the details of the tax payment made by the dealer as per advice of the VAT audit. So they wanted to know whether you have complied with that or not. But the time limit given is 10 days. And the time limit for filing the VAT audit revised return is 1 month. So the department will not get the sufficient information in this respect. If they want the proper information, they must extend the time for submission of the letter of submission within 1 month so that they will get the information well in advance. Now when we decide to give an advice to make the payment of the tax, we should not forget the provisions introduced in the VAT Act section 32A last year. And surprisingly, the Commissioner has expressed the opinion in the circular that this being a procedural in nature, it will apply to all audit reports filed prior to that. See the gravity of the matter. What is the provision? That if the VAT auditor has advised any dealer to make the payment and is accepted by the dealer and not paid, then department will recover the tax without issue of any assessment order. This is the most draconian provision, more dangerous than the LPT. How can you have such a provision that advice is there, accepted, and thereafter there is a change in the law? What to do? Now, when there is a change in the law, there is a change in the decision by the High Court or Supreme Court. We have got now decision of Supreme Court in case of the LNG builders case. I have advised the dealers to make the payment of the tax. He had accepted also. And now the Supreme Court judgment is that liability may affect, change, and there would be a refund. Now, if the dealer has filed the return, then no matter, pay the tax. If he has not paid the tax, department will recover the tax directly. Now, this is very important exercise after furnishing the audit report. Now, something which the VAT auditor should not advise to pay the tax. I have seen in some VAT audit report that VAT auditor is advised to pay the differential amount of the CST for pending form. That is not required. Only the VAT auditor has to inform what are the differential amount of the CST liability for pending form. Need not to advise the dealer to make the payment of the taxes. And if it is advised by them, need not to be accepted by the dealer. If the dealer accepts, auditor advise and dealer accept, then direct recovery. Also, you may receive the form subsequently. See, this is the seriousness of this matter. Now, another is that for that certificate pending reference is up in table 7, we don't have to quantify the liability. So therefore we are not required to advise the dealer to make payment on this time. That is not required. Now in case of the TDS, Annexure C of the 704, we have to give the details of the TDS certificate received. What about tax deducted at source for which certificates are not received? Should the auditor advise the dealer to make the payment of the tax? According to me, no. In Schedule 3, we have got the others column. There we can have that information. The TDS certificate claimed, TDS claimed and not received the certificate. The reason is Section 31(9) of the VAT Act, which provides where tax is deductible at source, deducted at source by any employer, the person making the said supply shall not be called upon to pay tax himself, contrary to 48(5). I don't have to prove whether tax is paid by the employer or not. Once I prove that tax is deducted at source by the employer, the recovery of the tax would be made from the employer and not from the contractor. So even certificates are not received, you can very well claim that credit of the TDS and the recovery would be made from the employer and not from the contractor. Friends, it is 2:45. Every good thing should come to an end at a proper time. If it does not end at a proper time, it ceases to be a good. And I want that in the first year of the Vikram Samvat 2017, I should see that the things which has been started by the association should remain a good for entire year. And with this, I conclude my talk on this topic. I hope that I have fulfilled the job for which I have been invited by the association to speak on the topic, and fulfill your wishes on that topic also. And I see the response given by the members by attending this study circle in a large number, and that is a message to the Commissioner that to have a bigger premises for conducting this type of a study circle. And with this, I thank you very much.
Yeah. 5 to 6 years, why department has amended this? Because when it was not there in the previous year.
Sir, I was not active. See, Jalan sir, now what they have not done earlier, we can't say that why you are doing now. You see, they must have found some difficulty in selecting the cases where section 23(8) is applicable. Now they find that VAT auditor and the tax consultants are very handy. Whatever we ask from them, they will give us. So that burden of selecting the cases where the 23(8) can be applied is shifted to us. And I am sure that with the help of the board and the information on the website, we will fulfill that job.
Planning issue now is regarding VAT on service tax and sales in transit. We feel that there is no direct reference made by the department at higher forum against those cases. So would you please clarify whether to report about this VAT on service tax and sales in transit?
I was hoping that this would be discussed in NRI. But anyway, now according to me, now we have to see also the audit conducted by the department in case of the dealer for the prior period. In the prior period, this issue has been taken up by the department in the case of the dealer. Then it will be the duty of the VAT auditor to inform and make the necessary observation in this respect. As far as legality is concerned, we have got a direct judgment of the larger bench in case of the Pentatel India, date May 2009, which is not listed on the website because it is a larger bench decision and against the larger bail decision, department cannot file any reference or appeal. So when the judgment would be given by the original bench, at that time we will come to know whether this decision is taken up before the High Court or not. So according to me today, we have got the decision of larger bench in case of the patent in India that no tax will form part of the sale price when it is collected under authority of the law. And that is the decision of the patent tribunal, not only of the tribunal, but is the decision of the Supreme Court in case of Dr. Anand Swarup. Dr. Anand Swarup. It is referred in Painter India. So it is a law of land, and Bata India 52 STC from the High Court is also that. Now the question is whether service tax is collected under authority of the law or not. I am not saying that. It is said by the Government of India Income Tax Department when they issued a circular under section 194I, when the tax was to be deducted from the payment of the rent. The Government of India has stated that service tax is being collected on behalf of the service recipient. Therefore, it will not form part of all the payment of the rent for which income tax is required to be deducted. So we have no issue as regards whether it is collected under the authority of the law. We have no issue as regards whether it forms part of sale price or not. That has been decided by the Supreme Court. About the DDQ given by the Commissioner in Sujata Painter, in that matter it was not referred this decision, and this tribunal is also pending before the tribunal. And on this topic, in sales tax review, in the first context special issue, more than one author has expressed their view whether service tax form part of sale price or not. So this is the legal position. Much could be debated in NRC. In NRC. No, not here. Now the question is that what the VAT auditor should do in this respect. According to me, the VAT auditor should make a deduction, allow the deduction with this not that in view of the decision of Painter India or the Supreme Court judgment Dr. Anand Swarup, the service tax amount is not forming part of the sale price and dealer has claimed the deduction. If the dealer has collected the tax on that amount, then also according to me the dealer must make a deduction and claim so that in a later on he can claim for the refund of the excess amount of the tax paid.
You know 704 because we will not able to mention 704 clause, we did not mention it over there.
No. So the question is whether it is to be mentioned in clause D and mentioned in table 7, the answer is no. That is applicable only on the information available on the website. If nothing is there on the website, clause D you forget. Then mention it other way. Where usually some certificate also refers whether deductions claimed by the dealer is proper or not. Under that certificate you have to mention that about this fact, about the transit sale, claim of section 6.2, Ajay Trading judgment is there by the tribunal. That also is not available on the website whether the department has filed any reference or not. So that count also we need not to refer, and we can accept the claim of the dealer on the basis of the Ajay Trading A&E judgment is not very applicable in those cases.
It to be included in the GT option.
Yes, because we are making a deduction. If you are not into that, then in the annexed case you make a reference to that in view of the judgment, the service tax does not form part of sale price, it is not included in GT option. According to me, we should make a full disclosure in the audit. Disclosure required. If the VAT auditor is of the opinion that no, it is to be included and tax should be paid, then let the VAT auditor to make mention accordingly, but the dealer may choose to whether to accept or not to accept.
As per your views, service tax is, as far as WIC is concerned, it specifically mentioned that tax amount is not to be taken into consideration for the turnover while deciding that whether it is forming 60 lakhs or not. How you feel it?
Sir, we are talking about gross turnover of sales and not the total turnover of sales. See,
Definitely this is related.
yes, because we don't have any definition of the term gross turnover of sales used in the return. If we look at the templates of the return, the gross turnover of sales, we have to include all the deductions claimed by the dealer, whether forming part of the taxable turnover or not. So first it would be including gross turnover of sales, then you make a deduction, and the resultant figure would be the taxable turnover of the sales. So the term total turnover of sales used in section 61 for calculating the limit of the turnover of sales for VAT audit for registration is a different terminology and the gross turnover of sales. So for that purpose, we have to see whether it forms part of the sales price or not, and the deduction for the goods return and mentioned in sales price, that is to be given effect, and the resultant figure would be a turnover of sales for the purpose of calculating the limit of registration as well as the VAT audit. So there is no contradiction in this system. Yes.
We have some new announcement and a very well deserved vote of thanks.
As already informed by our Mr. Pankaj Parekh, we have our 17th NRRC scheduled on 15th and 16th of November at Naveen Bhai Thakkar Auditorium. It's a 2-day event. I request all the members to please enroll in large numbers. It's at Naveen Bhai Thakkar Auditorium. We also have our Diwali get-together and Foundation Day function on 15th of November. Our Foundation Day is on 17th of November. This will be our 63rd Foundation Day. And I request all the members to join in large numbers. Those members who are enrolling for the NRRC need not pay the participation fees of ₹100 for the Diwali get-together. So that benefit is available to those members also. But it's not the question of paying or not paying ₹100. It's a question of being together and coming together as a part of our association. I request all the members to please be present with their families in large numbers for the occasion. The RRC of our association, the 38th RRC, has also been announced. It will be held at Jaipur from 9th February to 11th February. It will be after the VAT audit period, so all the professionals will be much relaxed. There are no major due dates in that month also. So I request all the members to please enroll at the earliest. The journey dates will be from 8th of February, and the return journey date will be 12th of February, 1 day plus. For those who are coming by train, all the details regarding the travel and the accommodation and the fees, etc. will be displayed on the website tomorrow. Further, for outstation people, participants, there is a seminar organized on 23rd of November at Aurangabad with the local tax practitioner association at Aurangabad. And the topics are taxation of builders and analysis of recent Supreme Court decisions. The regular activities of our association, the coaching classes and the intensive study circles are being conducted regularly. Those members who still want to enroll can definitely join in. And the coaching class, now most of the article students either might have resumed back from their exams, or I think the exams are still going on, maybe they resume. But those who want to still enroll can again join the coaching classes. Then we also have the workshop. It's a joint event, the joint workshop on MVAT, service tax and the allied laws. It will be held jointly with BCA, CTC, AIFTP and the Malad Chamber of Tax Consultants. The workshop will start from 21st of December and will continue till 3rd of May. And it will be having around 14 sessions in all. Our next study circle meeting is scheduled on 4th of December. The topic is issues in departmental audit and assessments under the MVAT Act. So these are the few of the events that have been planned out. I request all the members to please participate in huge numbers. Coming to the present task of vote of thanks. Well, Janak Bhai has minutely gone through the form 704 and explained the various intricacies involved. He has also analyzed the new provisions pertaining to the reference and also the J1, J2 issues that we are facing nowadays, and the issues that we as auditors would have to take up. He has dealt with the subject marvelously, and I request you all to please carry out with a very loud applause.